This episode of the Blokebusters podcast is brought to you by The Eye Shop, a different kind of eye care experience. Located at 9009 Columbus Pike, Lewis Center, Ohio. It's owned and managed by Dr. Cynthia Sayers. Along with her amazingly talented and friendly staff, she provides a warm, personalized atmosphere that you just don't find at those other cold and clinical offices. I absolutely love this place. I have purchased many frames from Dr. Sayers. She carries a wide variety of stylish frames, no matter what your budget may be. And be sure to listen closely to this episode for a secret word or phrase that I will announce at some point. Simply go into the Eye Shop and tell Dr. Sayers, Grace, Rachel, or Mona the word or phrase to receive 10% off your next purchase of any eyewear or contact lenses. That's on top of your insurance savings. This offer is limited to the first 5 to act. Stop in and see the girls soon. The Eye Shop, a different kind of eye care experience. Welcome to episode 24 of the Blokebusters podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Paul.
Today's date is September 4th, 2013, and today we will be tackling the third installment of the Cornetto trilogy, The World's End.
Yes, we will. And first up, before we go into anything else, apologies for any dog noises in the background. Unfortunately, our little mascot needed back surgery and now is on crate rest, which he's not very fond of. So there might be some yipping in the background.
Yeah.
Just
apart from our yipping.
Yes. Totally. Well, we're yipping in the foreground.
Oh, that's true. Sorry.
Yeah. Alright, well, basic plot. 5 friends who reunite in an attempt to top their epic pub crawl from 20 years earlier unwittingly become humankind's only hope for survival. Yeah,
because you can't give away too much in the synopsis. Yeah, but
and I could have gone with an even longer one from IMDb, but I decided not to, mainly because it was just kind of silly.
Yeah, do it. Let's get the boring old nuts and bolts out of the way real quick.
Yeah. Let's see. So who directed this one again?
Mick G.
Yeah, something like that.
Was it Brett Ratner?
Oh, yes. Oh, no, sorry, Jake.
Oh, wait, no, it was a good film. I'm sorry. So it must have been Edgar Wright.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, not Michael Bay.
No. Not nearly enough explosions.
No. Or lens flare.
I like JJ, okay?
Yeah. No, yes, nothing against JJ as a director, but yeah.
He loves his lens flare.
Yes, he does.
All right.
Yes, so the wonderful Edgar Wright. And the budget, $20 million.
Not bad.
And the box office, as of today, as far as I could tell, $34,781,603.
$14 million to the good.
And that is worldwide.
Okay. And it opened in the UK a few weeks ago,
It opened in the UK before.
Like a month ago, maybe?
It was almost a month ago,
yeah.
It made opening weekend not as much as Hot Fuzz.
Really?
But more than Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
Mainly because
no one knew what Shaun of the Dead was when it came out.
No one really. It was a very word of mouth.
That found a following on DVD, Blu-ray, or not Blu-ray then, but
DVD
and video
and the independent showings as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously Hot Fuzz was the big follow-up, and it was just as good, really.
I had a. It's gonna sound like an insult, but this film is more of the same.
Yeah.
In that it's awesome. I was like, they all kind of follow a formula, if you will. We're on one simple task, but extreme circumstances, whether it be zombies or a cult of killers in a village, or killer robots.
Blanks.
Blanks, I'm sorry. Not a robot, yes. Killer blanks. Yes. The blanking blanks.
Yes. And we would go further on with funny names there, but we've forgotten what most of the ones are.
Yes. And of course, as always, very spoiler laden. So
this
stop
one probably
now if you don't want every single joke ruined in this film.
This
because
one
we will probably hit them all.
Definitely more so than your usual one from us, just because of how much we like this. We'll talk about it. I mean, obviously, it's no secret that we are big Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright fans. Mm-hmm. We love Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. We both really like Spaced as well.
Which, I mean, check out Spaced, please.
Yeah, it's only, 12 episodes?
No,
13. 1617.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then buy the extended DVD or Blu-ray to get a nice little special. When they're making of, you have a little mini episode at the end there.
Yeah, it's one of those things of they just put something right at the end of the documentary.
For us fanboys.
The people that really want to know, I gotta find out this.
I got to know. Yes, but it's well worth it. So
Oh, yeah.
spend your time. It's only like, it's a total of like 10 hours or something of viewing. So maybe,
I would
I don't
guess
know.
so, yeah.
What are they? They run about 30 to 40 minutes?
They're just under half an hour long.
Or half an hour.
So.
Okay, yeah. So with some breaks, with some snack breaks, and whatever. You can knock it out in a day.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I've done it before.
Yeah. I think I did it. I borrowed your box set to get the commentary, and I listened to all of them.
Wonderful commentaries. You got Quentin on there. You got all kinds of good commentaries.
The very unfortunate thing is that in the UK, those commentaries with the filmmakers is not available.
Yeah.
For some reason, America. Yeah. I think I figured out why, though, or at least why that might have been put in there. And I think it's because it made it easier to bring it over here that you have all these big names in the commentary, which is written on the box so people can see this. So they're like, oh, all of these big American people that I like this show. Maybe I'll give it a go.
Skip to the end. I had to get it in there at some point.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting for it, man. Come on.
That was well planned. I was planning on saying that at some point today. So, during this podcast. So.
All right, okay. So let's get into the cast of the film, shall we? We have
two primaries, of course.
Yeah, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg as Andy Knightley and Gary King, respectively.
King, yes.
The King. And then we have, out of the other pub crawl people, we have Paddy Considine. Paddy Considine. I'm never sure how to say that guy's name. I'm fairly sure it's Considine.
Yeah.
I think that's how it's written. What was it? Deputy Sergeant Andy Wainwright himself as Stephen Prince.
Yes.
And then you've got Eddie Marsan as Peter Page. Eddie Marsan, actually quite well known. He was in both of the Sherlock Holmes films. He's Inspector Lestrade. And,
yes, of course.
He was also in something else that I'm blanking on right now, so I'm going to skip over that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The wonderful Martin Freeman.
Oh, yes, Dr. Watson.
Yes. Dr. Watson, and of course Bilbo. Young Bilbo.
Yes, Dr. Bilbo Watson. Omen. It's a long name.
Oh, yes, it is. Dr. Bilbo Watson, the O-Man. Yes.
O-Man.
Alright, Rosamund Pike, I'm guessing that's how you say it, as Sam Chamberlain. And Pierce Brosnan popping up as Guy Shepherd.
Yes.
And
we'll get to a couple other cameos.
Yeah, just a couple of
one at least. From the aforementioned space. Spoiler!
Technically, two.
It's the daughter! No, just kidding. What the hell was her name? Marsh? No.
Yeah.
What was the daughter's name?
Bugger.
Tiffany? Tiffany? No?
No.
I don't know, but you never saw her.
Yeah,
that was the joke, folks. You never saw her.
Yeah, it was one of the tropes of the characters you never see.
Yes. All right, the world and...
All right, so where would you like to start?
I don't know. Have you ever been on a pub crawl?
I technically have.
Yes. Okay. I've been on a few.
And of course,
none that were 12 pints. That's just insane. But
that is.
I mean, because we drink 12 ounces here.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you get a draft, yes, it's in a pint. But generally, you're getting a bottle of beer or a can of beer.
Yeah, it's not.
So
that's
not just 12
pints.
beers. That's, do the math. It's, 16, whatever, 17, I don't know.
Yeah.
This isn't a math podcast, people. Shut up.
Especially since the US pint and the UK pint are different.
What?
Yeah.
By how much?
The UK pint is a little bigger.
A little bigger. How is that possible?
I don't know, but it is. For some reason, it must be because of, I think, we're on a metric system. You guys are. It doesn't quite mesh together.
But it's ounces. There should be 16 ounces and 16 ounces.
That's the thing. I don't
know.
How
ounces different? My mind is blown, folks.
Well, the thing is, we use milliliters when we're measuring most of our stuff.
Yes. So that was very confusing when I was buying Coca-Cola over there. It was like 145,000. I mean, I don't know how much I'm drinking here, but yes. Can't we simplify this down?
Well, the thing is, the metric system, not to go on around about that, is actually simple.
I know. We're the only holdout left. It's like us and like one other country. I don't know. But to.
Oh, yes.
Where would you like to go with it? Yes, pub crawls, awesome. Especially when you're running away from blanks.
I mean, it can interfere with the amount of people on the pub crawl, but whatever.
You got Simon Pegg, or the King, or, who's the typical guy who's never changed, never grown up, while all of his friends have matured, gotten decent jobs, families, what have you.
Yeah, most people have definitely moved on.
And he, sees no point as to why not still enjoy life and why not. Yes. Not that those people aren't, but he, is a free man. He can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
And of course, it being a film, it is exaggerated slightly. Like, he is the eternal kid. He's Peter Pan gone wrong, basically.
Oh, yeah. With the trench coat and the shades, and yes.
Yeah. Still thinks he's as cool as he was in school.
I just love the bit about the cassette tape. Where did you find it? Yeah. In the cassette tape. Where did you find that?
In the car. Oh, you got a replica
he's
car.
The guy that's still listening to the cassette tapes. Like, not out of nostalgia or out of irony. That's still just what he wants to do.
Yeah. Of course, the brilliant bit coming in when they all finally get to the train station, he comes to pick them up. And it's like, oh wow, where'd you find another 82? It's like, no, this is it.
This is the beast.
This is the beast? Like, yeah, it just had to change the engine, and he proceeded to mention everything in the car.
It's a bit hairy.
Basically the frame, I think, is the only thing still standing on that car. But he's still got that car, and that is how it really works in the UK. Sometimes you have some people that, if you can keep the car running, you keep that car.
I just don't see the point of owning a car in London.
Yeah, no, there's no point there. References.
Yes. All right, where would you like to go?
Well, I think we should probably really just delve into the world that has been built, and therefore the running jokes, I think.
Because each film has a runner.
Yeah,
or a couple, that'll go back and forth or have different variations or adaptations to it.
On top of the general formula, which leads to the running jokes, where in each film there's actually a point where one of the characters explained what's going to happen in the film by either an idea, scenario, or, and in the case of this film, just saying what happened last time on the pub crawl is exactly what happens on this time in the pub crawl. Only, obviously, slightly different circumstances.
Slightly higher stakes.
And the one that I was thinking about, in Hot Fuzz, you don't necessarily think that's happening, but...
Yeah, what was it in Hot Fuzz?
When they're in the car, and Nicholas Angel is talking to... Yes, Nicholas Angel is talking to the Nick Frost character, whose name I'm blanking on right now. And Nick Frost's character is saying, like, why are you always being suspicious of everyone? And Nicholas Angel then goes on saying, well, look at that coat that he's wearing. He could be hiding a gun under there. Look at this. And all of these things then happen at the giant battle at the end. Like, he is hiding a shotgun under there. And there are some...
I guess, to a lesser extent. I mean, it's really spelled out in Sean.
Oh, yeah.
It's
everything that they say.
And, all that. But
a Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary, yep.
But and then...
And in this film?
In this film, it is, you get the starting narration by Simon Pegg's character, and he's saying... life was great when we were younger. Like, he introduces all the characters. I thought
that opening narration is just hilarious.
And then he talks about when they did the pub crawl, and when they lost Oliver, and then when they also lost Peter, and how they all ended up at the end. And the pub that they lost Oliver in is, spoilers, the pub that they lose the Oliver.
Yeah, the real Oliver, yes.
And
spoiler.
And Peter ends up, they leave him drunk on a bench, and this time he's taken in the park, like where he was left before, in between those pubs. So it's very specifically what he's saying is the fate, as it were, of the characters at the end. On top of that, in this film, every single pub that they go into, and I did have to double check this, and I got the list here.
Are they real pubs?
They're all real pub names, so they all do exist. I mean,
probably not the same locations or not the same.
No, yes, they changed the signage for the locations
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, but they are all actual pub names. And
like the Winchester, but the Winchester's not in.
Yes,
blah blah blah. Yeah.
And every pub name is something to do with that point in the story.
Oh yeah.
And to go through it quickly, then you got the first post, which is the first pub. Yeah, fair
pretty
enough.
self-explanatory there.
The old familiar, and either it's a point on the fact that Sam arrives at the old familiar, which is where she turned up on the last pub crawl, but also they go into this pub and it's exactly
identical
the same
to
as
the
the
first
first
pub.
pub.
It's all been commercial, owned by a conglomerate or that's just copied everything. Yeah.
Alright, then you got the famous cock, which is where Gary was barred, being a cock. So, you basically got that. He comes in flaunting his past, and then he pointed out you're barred. Then we've got the cross hands, which the sign is 5 hands linking together, and it is where they find out that there are the blanks robots. They haven't named it at that point, and where they all band together for this one cause when they weren't doing that before, and now they're all together. So that's kind of the thing for that one. You've got then the Good Companion, which it has a smiley face mask and then 4 sad face masks behind it.
Yes, right.
And that's when they've gone for the fight and they've decided to carry on. So they all go in, they order the drink, they down the drink, they leave. Like they're all just getting along. Then you've got the Trusty Servant, which is, I've seen someone say you could technically say that Oliver is the Trusty Servant because in that pub he's changed round, and so that guy, the new blank him, is the Trusty Servant, or it's where they meet the old guy that dealt him drugs and he explains the situation. So you got that one. Then you've got the two-headed dog. Can you remember what happened at the two-headed dog?
Refresh me for the listeners.
The twins.
Yes, the twins. Yes.
Twins, Basil.
Hey, let's stick to one English trilogy at a time.
As you must call that an English trilogy.
Well, I must. Yes.
So, you got the twin robots that meld into one, that kind of... It's a bit of an odd thing. Legs for arm, but whatever. It works. Then you've got the mermaid, which in ancient lore the mermaid would use siren song, they're also called siren, to lure people to the rocks, and that's when they go in and it's a dance place and the robots are trying to get their DNA so that they can assimilate them nicely, and then if they don't they can take them over.
Yeah, do it anyway, yeah.
Then you got the beehive, which is when the queen bee Guy Shepherd turns up, and he sort of explained everything, and that's also where they finally figure out that Oliver isn't Oliver anymore. And then you've got the King's Head, which is where Gary King basically loses it. And also, they say this is going back to when they're in the narration at the beginning, he mentions that they smoked out the King's Head, and they get there and it's a charred thing, like it is burnt out, so that was another dual thing that they had going there. And then you got the hole in the wall, which doesn't make any sense until the point where Stephen drives the car into
the hole, into the
creating a very big hole in the wall.
In the wall, yes.
And then the world's end.
What's that one about?
Well, I think something to do with the end of the world. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, if we play ball, it wouldn't be. Be assimilate into the network. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, why didn't they link up with Bill Nighy? I mean, come on.
I don't know. Yeah.
If there's anyone you really want to join, I think Bill Nighy is up on the list.
He's up there. And I will say quickly that I forget which pub it is at. It's like the 3rd or the 4th.
Tell me what it is now.
But where everyone else did not have a pint, but they're leaving, and there are 3 half-drank pints on the table. I have done that, and do not judge me. He pours them all into one and downs them.
That would be the famous cock.
The famous cock.
Because he couldn't drink it.
Yeah, that's right, because they wouldn't serve him, yeah.
I love that. Even though it's still clearly... Even though it's still clearly the blank behind the bar, like as everyone does, he's still barring him. He still knows it's him, and off he goes.
Well, they have certain memories. Their former whatever. I'm sure there are certain people who will say, "Oh, they didn't finish the crawl," because
he didn't have the pint at the world's end.
He didn't have the pint at the world's end, and that's knowing my roommate. That would be his gripe. Oh, well, that's the whole point of the movie. Well, no, not really. But I don't know where I was going with that. But I would have a little small bit would have liked to see you drink that pint at some point. But
I figured that after they'd gone down and Gary King had finally just gone, alright, I figured he'd have found one that worked and poured himself the pint.
It's great though, just the choreography with the fighting and him still trying to pour the tap.
That was my favourite moment of the film.
Just dropping a glass, shit, grabbing another glass, trying to pour the pint.
The massive
fighting around for blanks.
The massive fight in the beehive where he's just drink after drink, and he's getting there, and he just keeps getting nudged by him.
Nudged, or it's close to his lips and knocked out.
But he does manage to consume enough to count. So.
That was fabulous. It was just, it reminded me of obviously Shaun of the Dead with the Queen song, and the pool cue.
Yeah, and
I think that's better, but this was pretty darn good. Because the Queen song is so silly over what is happening.
and then you get the immortal line of, David, kill the Queen. The jukebox.
The jukebox. What? Back to this film, I suppose.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. Where would you like to head next?
Well, I would think that probably a good thing to do would be to sort of try and judge it based on the other films
I was just going to bring up the same thing. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Obviously, they're different genres, as it were. I guess science fiction for the first and the third one, and just sort of bad boys type
fascists, extremism.
As we said, they all have kind of a formula that they follow.
Yes,
they all
and
have
like I said, it works. I'm fine with it.
That's it. As long as they keep making good films,
and there are new jokes.
Yeah.
It's not Home Alone 2, anyone. Where they followed the same formula, but it was a horrible formula.
It was the same jokes with a little added. That's not what you want. You want the same formula, but done differently.
Exactly.
Which doesn't make sense saying it out loud like that, but if you watch these films, you get it.
Yes, on a broader scope, it's the same formula. But analyze scene by scene and what the film is, they are all different films.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Would you like to go first, or shall I go first, ranking them? Or?
All right, I'll go first.
Okay, yes, I will defer to the Englishman.
All right. Well, I will say that I think that this film, The World's End, is the best overall film, mainly because I know I'm getting the wave, but I think it's because it's very clear that everything that they have done up till this point, they've learnt from, and they've come together to make this solid film. However, it is not the one I like the most. The one that I like the most is probably Hot Fuzz, followed by Shaun of the Dead.
Wow, that I am shocked by.
And that is because I so love Shaun of the Dead, but I think that Hot Fuzz kind of hit the nail on the head with what they did with all those characters and a big ensemble thing. Like,
Crusty Douglas.
Crusty Douglas.
Great big bushy beard. Come on. Jim Broadbent is awesome in that film.
Yes,
absolutely. He is my favorite character in that film. That is not Simon Pegg or Nick Frost. He might even be my favorite character in that film.
He is fantastic, although my favourite line in that film comes from one of the Andys, where the other Andy is assumed to be hit because a glass is smashed and he's got red on him, and it's just a, Andy! And as he runs off, he's like, it's alright, Andy, it's just bolognese! Ludicrous in the middle of a knife fight. I mean, come on.
Speaking of real quick, password is, you've got blue on you.
That's
now, where are we? Let's see. You were saying ranking. So, Hot Fuzz first,
Hot Fuzz
World's End,
first.
or Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, World's End.
Yes, in just terms of how much I enjoyed the film. However, coming from a film studies standpoint of someone that just loves cinema and bodies of work, I do think that World's End, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, in order of just well-rounded films and filmmaking. Which makes sense given the order that they were made, and I loved it as a film. It's up there, but as the entertainment value for me, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, World's End. That is not to say that this is not a great film,
okay.
But
right.
I mean, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz have those.
Now I will explain the wave that I was giving to you. Get out of my fucking head, Paul, because I had this plan. I was like, I wanted to talk about this before, but I also wanted to save it to see where it went. In our pregame, I wanted to talk about it. But
we do that a lot, by the way.
And this like I said, I think is the best overall film. I had those exact words in my head, that this is the best overall film. Structure-wise, acting, the enjoyable qualities of it. And I will say, as much as I laughed in this film, I think Shaun of the Dead had more jokes, better jokes, and I enjoyed that more. And Hot Fuzz, I also enjoyed, but it's like 3 children. I mean, you love them all.
Yeah, for different reasons.
Assuming, unless, one of them is dumb. Then you drop them off somewhere. Yes. Or if you're Chinese and they're a daughter. I don't know. Uh-oh. Edit that part out. All right. For our one China listener.
Oh, come on. Give me the firewall over there. Do you think they're ever going to listen to this?
Yes. So I would rank them The World's End, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. In very, we're talking runners at in a race that are 1, 2, 3, and then 4th is way back there. So milliseconds apart in the finish.
These are 3 Usain Bolts chasing each other, followed by the rest of the pack.
Usain Bolt at 5 different years, later in his life. So, The World's End. Oh, no, I would say Shaun of the Dead, The World's End, Hot Fuzz.
Right.
Even though it's weird to say that I think it's an overall better film, but I still enjoy Shaun of the Dead more.
Well, that's the thing. There are fantastic films out there, like The Godfather. And
you don't always feel like watching The Godfather. Not everyone has 3.5 hours on a Sunday to watch.
I mean, I know that The Godfather is a fantastic film. I don't like that type of film, therefore I don't.
You don't like good films. I think you're in the wrong line of entertainment.
Okay,
here.
I don't like films such as The Godfather's, what it's doing and the story it's telling. Not my real thing. Mafia stuff, I'm not really that interested in.
Great film. He's wrong. It's okay.
I've
been wrong about things.
That is the thing. I'm not saying it's a bad film because it's a fantastic film.
Absolutely.
Not for me. So
and 2 is even better. And we're not going to talk about 3.
That's what I hear. I hear that 3 is the one that's locked up in the attic.
3, that was when the parents went too far and all the good DNA was taken. No, it's a decent film if the 2 films before it hadn't been Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. If it was just standalone, the film, it's not a bad movie. But the bar was set so high with 1 and set even higher with 2 that 3 just fell well below 1 and it was silly.
Well, to go even further off topic, I actually state that The Matrix 2 and 3 are good films in their own right, but the fact that The Matrix was that good and followed that...
No, they are not. They're horrible. They're horrible because he's a god and then he still has to go by the rules.
No, I know.
They establish he is a god at the end of that film. And he can see the Matrix and you never see that crap again.
No, you do not. I completely agree that they messed up that plot point very badly. But as an overall film, it actually is quite good. But then everyone is saying it's not The Matrix. It's not this. It's not what we wanted. And then it got panned because of that. It was another bar was set too high, and then they messed up.
I just think there was so much. I don't know what happened there. There was just so much potential for where that story could go.
No,
I
fully agree. I also think that if they hadn't ended the first one as they had, like with that whole thing of like it's up to you now, which made it feel like it was closed, even though they stated that they were always planning a sequel. I think if they hadn't done that, maybe they'd done a slightly different
Well, there's
thing.
so much emphasis on sequels now.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to just make a standalone film.
I know.
And it would have been great. Like, I don't need to see that character again.
No,
that was a great film. Like, I don't need Wall Street 2. Which they fucking made anyway, despite my letters.
with Mr. LaBeouf as well, I believe.
Yeah. But there's just the system as it is, and if it makes money, they're going to pump out another one. But I don't even think I saw the third one because my eyes were rolled up so far in my head for most of it that I missed most of it. So it might have been decent. I don't know. But
I will say that the end fight scene was way over the top. Even for that film, it was over the top.
What the hell are we talking about?
But,
Matrix?
Yeah. But, to go on your thing of like, sequels being the thing, like I love that these are kind of seen as sequels, quote unquote.
But they're not the same characters. They're not even the same. I guess what London was Shaun of the Dead, and this is London, isn't it? But then Hot Fuzz was a village, but he started in London.
Yeah, this one starts in London, but again goes
to their hometown.
To the home village.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I would rather see things like this happen, where there's a continuity of film, but it's not the same characters.
Where it's like Holy Grail style almost. So you got the same players, but different stories.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just wonderful.
It's like a theater company. It's just... Yeah.
It's wonderful to see that this type of stuff can still be done and can still do well in the cinemas. It actually, when it came out, that week, it was the #1 average across all theaters in the US. It very quickly got taken down from that, but the fact that this film could come out in this day and age with so many big budget films, so it's the end of the summer season, and so you're getting some of the bigger budgets coming out, and it's still doing really well, and the people that went to see Hot Fuzz have gone to see this film. I would know that we say spoilers at the beginning, but I honestly think anyone that would listen to this episode has already seen this film.
Knows the canon, I would hope, yeah.
And I was looking out for some way that they would link Hot Fuzz to this film, since in Hot Fuzz they have, very briefly, a shot of the Shaun of the Dead DVD under its alternative name. I was looking for something in there, like maybe even a picture of Nicholas Angel on one of the things.
Yeah, I mean, you did have the Cornetto wrapper, which I I loved. The blue against the fence.
And of course, I know it was all planned and all scripted and everything, but still the fantastic timing of, I don't think I can think of any processed food that I missed, and just a look of sadness as that wrapper goes by. I thought they were genuinely not going to have it in there as well, because it just isn't in the film. It's not even written on the board in one of the things as a dessert you can buy or something. So I thought, wow,
explain to some of the American folks, I guess, that maybe aren't huge ice cream fans in England of English foods, what a cornetto is.
Okay, a cornetto, if we're going to go just basic structure.
You got your red and your blue, right?
Yes. Well, there is red, blue, and green.
And green.
Blue is vanilla, red is strawberry, and green is mint.
And it's a prepackaged cone.
Yes, it's basically, you take a cone which has some chocolate on the inside of it, then you pack it with vanilla ice cream, and
there's some nuts
in the case of the mint one, I think there's some mint stuff strewn in with it, and possibly the strawberry one is a little bit, but it was never that strong. And then on the top, you've got chocolate shavings, you've got some nuts put on there, and a drizzle on the red and the green one.
So the American equivalent, if you're familiar with the Schwan Man delivery, whatever, is the drumstick.
The drumstick. Okay.
Which also, I think, Dairy Queen used to have something similar to it a long time ago, I believe. But yes, the drumstick, which was a cone that had hardened chocolate on the top and vanilla ice cream, and then it was just like chopped peanuts on top. And that was
it. So
and then it was like chocolate drizzle or something.
So kind of the same.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
So it's,
Yeah, I mean, if you...
I just, people saying, we're saying cornetto, there's,
Yeah, I was saying, if you've seen Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, you've seen them eating them.
Yes, exactly.
So you know roughly what they look like.
That is the structure delicious.
Of them.
As are these films.
Yes, they are very good.
So it's a well-named trilogy.
I always love that it sort of got named that by the fans.
Yes.
Like,
that's not something they set out. Like, we're going to make three movies that
specifically
reference cornetto. Yeah.
And I also found out that this film was written by Edgar Wright when he was 21. Before he'd even done Shaun of the Dead or anything.
Really?
Before he'd even done Spaced. He wrote this, but it was as kids going on the pub crawl. And then later on in life, he figured out that I can make it about adults going back. I can just have this be a story of what I would do, go back home and try and recreate this stuff. And they went from there. And the interview that I actually read was fantastic, because they point out that most people thought that they were going to do the Alien Invasion because Green Cornetto, Alien Invasion, they were going to start with a genre and write the story. And they point out this was not the case at all. They always write the story and then they figure out, well, given where this is going, this is clearly a science fiction. Or this is the action film that Hot Fuzz turned out to be. So
you mean you ain't seen Bad Boys 2?
Yeah.
Bad Boys 2 was on TV the other day. I'm sorry. That's what was fresh in my mind. Like, and I looked at everybody and he's like, I've never seen this. You ain't seen Bad Boys? Hey, of course.
Yeah.
Well, right over him.
I love that it is one of those things, especially with films and television, that you're talking to someone and you mention something, and if their response is, "Oh, I haven't seen that," the response to that is always, bar none, "You haven't seen this?"
How is it possible someone else exists that hasn't seen what I like?
Yeah, it's even like, even if it's something along the lines of
idiot.
like you're talking to, say, your friend about, let's say, the Breaking Bad, the final part of the final season of Breaking Bad, which I really need to watch. I'm
not caught up on. All right,
I'm caught up to the halfway.
I'm gonna
point.
buy this. Ooh, I might buy the season pass when I go home and watch the first one of this season, or second half of.
I was saying, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say it is on Netflix this year. No,
Well, up to season 5. The last season is not on there.
yes, it is. The first half of it is.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Maybe they just put it up because I checked the other day and it wasn't.
No, it's been up there.
Oh, I got Netflix pulled up right now, Paul. We'll see about that.
I'll tell you, I started watching it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, where's Breaking Bad? Yeah, you can buy me some time here.
Well, anyway, so I've completely forgotten the point I was going to say.
I don't know. Is there a point?
So it'll be, you're talking to someone else very specifically.
Season 5.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then I didn't.
But they're in season 6, are they not?
No, it's the last
It's
half
the
of
last of
season
season
5.
That's not right. This
Yeah.
is not the same. No.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Anyway,
I'm going to skip to the end.
I'll say we're about to get a little earlier.
I'll skip to the end again and see if this is in fact the case.
Anyway, while Brian is skipping through Breaking Bad, basically what I was trying to say is that no matter how new the thing is and how little the audience might actually be, you are always then shocked that someone else hasn't seen it. Like, someone that doesn't have a television that says I haven't seen it, you'll still be shocked. It's like, why haven't you gone down to your next door neighbor's house and watched this on television? Like,
My apologies to Paul. I'm watching Hank about to go sit on the crapper and discover the book. So, spoiler alert for Breaking Bad, people, if you haven't seen that.
Although, to be fair,
But I
that
didn't say
one
what was in the
sentence-
book.
No,
Yes.
that one sentence could be anything. So, I feel like I should apologize for the last 2 or 3 minutes of this. This went really somewhere I didn't think it would.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Are we going to wrap it up on The World's End here and maybe get to some recommendations, or do you have any last thoughts, comments?
Obviously, we haven't talked about the 2 people that are, again, staples that turn up.
Yes.
We have, of course, to start,
I will
we're
let
going
you
chronologically in the film. We have the landlady of the place that they go to that they're going to be staying in, which, of course, is Marsha from Spaced. Mm-hmm. And she was actually a landlady in a pub in Hot Fuzz as well. Don't think she was in Shaun of the Dead, but she might have been. I don't know. I wasn't looking. And so it's again a thing that Edgar Wright loves to do, which is people that he has worked with, even if it's just a bit part, he'll try and get them into his other thing. And then you've got the wonderful Mark Heap as the landlord in, I believe, it is The Trusty Servant. No, wrong about that. I can't remember how far down it is. It might be either the Cross Hands or the Beehive or the Two-Headed Dog. It's basically one of those ones. It's after number 3, but it's before number 9. So
Okay.
There's a number in there, and he is someone who initially it appears that he isn't a blank, as it were. Like he knows the guys he's going on, but then I do think he is a blank, especially given how he starts to act when everyone starts moving out. He's on the phone to things. So I think it was a brilliant thing what they did. The blanks are clearly all connected, almost a hive mind, as it were. I mean, obviously they're connected to Bill Nighy, but
as we all should be.
It seems that the more that some of them learn, all of them are able to take that and then move on with it, which leads to the fantastic fight scenes, and they're all so different because of all the different situations and how much they both learnt. Like when they first fight the guys in the toilets, and they just managed to beat them. And then
good thing that one kid was a robot, because he would have died getting his head cracked on that urinal.
Yes.
He would have murdered someone.
I was almost expecting...
Murder.
Murder. Change the fucking record. Oh dear.
Yes.
So you can tell we like Hot Fuzz. We keep
Very true. Very true.
But
Yes,
I was almost expecting one person to be human. Like, in the fighting, there to be one kid that they punch and
like
nothing
bleed.
happens.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, sorry. And then, of course, you have the only two live people left other than the weed seller guy. And they're just the weedy guys who are like, hi, yes, I'm here, I'm good. Yeah. And one of them is actually in space as well. And he is the guy who is on the team that built the other robot. He's one of those guys.
Wait, who is he in space?
He, as I said,
built it. Okay, well, robots. Gotcha.
He's the smaller, the guy that talks more in that episode.
Yeah.
And he's actually more famous in the UK for being part of something called the League of the League of Gentlemen. Yeah, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Not so extraordinary gentlemen.
Yeah, League of Gentlemen, which is one of the most random television shows I've ever watched.
All right then.
And it might not necessarily be in a good way. But, I mean, we've obviously told everyone where our films lie in our personal scale, but we haven't gone into the rating for it.
Oh, okay.
So, would you like to give your rating?
Yes, I will go first, because I know you won't be influenced by mine. I don't know, subconsciously might be influenced by yours. But you know what? I thought about it, I would have rated it much higher right after seeing the film, which is why I like to wait. I think I would come in at a solid -1. There's not a whole lot wrong with it.
No, yeah.
It's a lot right with it. I mean, and just maybe for comparative sakes, I'd probably put Sean at like -0.5.
Right.
And, Hot Fuzz, at like 1.5. Something like
okay.
that, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I wasn't let down. Like, I was afraid, I was like, part of me thought, well, just because I'm a skeptical and sometimes pessimistic person, like, oh, they're going to drop the ball on this one.
Yeah.
But no, they wouldn't put anything out there that they weren't happy with, and,
No, yeah.
I feel, completely confident trusting them to do anything. So, that team knows what they're doing, and they don't disappoint.
No, yeah. Edgar Wright, I have not seen anything by Edgar Wright that I have not
liked. No, I mean, Scott Pilgrim was awesome.
Fantastic.
It just proved that he can succeed outside that world,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anything sort of geeky-esque and that sort of subworld, he knows and is able to do that well, and he does his research.
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of these films in the Cornetto trilogy were influenced by very specific types of films, and that shows, and they make nods to that.
Yeah.
And then Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, obviously, it was following on that stuff, but he took that and some of the characters, like, he drew a little bit from some anime, went a little bit further with it than some of the books did. So he's able to take those worlds and the stuff he knows, run with it, and just make it better. I think he's able to do such a good job with that.
So your rating then would be?
My rating, I have been thinking about this a lot, and I'm going to do my now standard thing of I've got the two.
Stick to one. Come on, don't hedge.
Yeah, I'm joking. It's one thing. They're the same, one and the same, and you actually stole my rating from me. It was a -1.
Okay.
And I couldn't find pretty much anything wrong with the film at all, and solid acting from everyone. And the only reason that I didn't put it higher is that, as I said, as an experience, the other film definitely seemed to draw me in more, and maybe a slight personal.
I mean, it does take I think a little bit longer to get to the meat of the film.
Yes,
that being like the zombies appearing in Shaun, or things starting to go odd in Hot Fuzz. There's a little more build up, I think, before they realize this just isn't going to be a normal pub crawl.
Yeah, well, obviously you get the hints and stuff, but when they first start to clock on to exactly what it is maybe halfway through the film.
It's like a half hour, at least half hour, 40 minutes before that bathroom scene, I would think.
Yeah, it's
and I think, I want to say Shaun of the Dead, it's like 20 minutes or so, or 25 minutes maybe before you get to the zombie.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously you start to see the zombie on the second day.
Oh, yeah. So, as he goes in, slips. One of my favorite physical jokes of that whole film. Just slips on the blood.
Oh, yeah. It's just like, whoop, there it is.
Yes. So -1 for you, eh?
Yes, definitely. And like as we say, you can't not go and see this film if you're a fan of Edgar Wright, or even if you're just a fan of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Like, they are
or just English humor or just good humor. Just let's not put it there, because I mean you got all those fast-paced, quick jokes, quick back and forths, and wordplay and turning the phrases, and it's
And the one
there's a lot of thinkers, and the phrase I don't know if you might have to explain this to me if this is a common English phrase I've never heard before, but I cracked up when I realized what a white-on was, or what a white-on, because that has not been heard over here to my knowledge.
That is something I have not heard much. It's not it's not as common
as the male counterpart phrase.
Yeah, but no, yes, I have heard that before.
Okay, yes, I had not. That was my first experience. I was like, white on. And it was like a 3-second delay, like a satellite.
Yeah, it's always good when you get that.
Very good, sir. Very good.
I did worry slightly that I know that Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are both kind of naturalized, as in like they're both very English, but the pub crawl in a little town and the close knitness of this little town and the growing up, that I thought that setting, or very specifically the setting you see in the film, would possibly a little too out there for some people over here.
Well, I think anyone that's grown up in a small town, no matter where you're from, I think, because I grew up in a small town and we did bar crawls on the lake.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, there are small towns out here, but there are far less than there are in the UK. I mean, I would say that there are probably more small towns in the UK than there are in the US.
Well, there's so much, countryside.
Everywhere is a city, and everywhere, like, technically, my wife lived in Marion, which is considered a small town. It's a city of several thousand people. I mean, yeah.
See, my small town was 10,000 people. So.
But no, that's the thing. In the UK, if you're in a small town, and
like
I mean a proper small town, you've got maybe 300 houses maximum.
Okay.
Once you get past that, you're into the real sort of bigger towns, and then the cities. Like over here, a small town can be, as you say, 10,000 people.
That was a pretty small town. Yeah.
I mean,
no one's heard of it outside of 50 miles.
But that's the thing. Like in the film, when they're driving down and they stop and they look over and you see the town, like that is the town. That is all
it's like
of
the
town.
Old West Street, like the one street with the bar, the saloon, the blacksmith. The
little center
livery.
town, and then somehow
and
off to the side.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was thinking maybe that might take away a little bit from some people.
I don't think
but
so.
Yeah, when I went in and I saw it and I saw what they were doing, I really thought, okay, no, that's not going to matter.
Yes.
Because I did think it was hinging more on the pub crawl, but they worked it around that. It starts off with the pub crawl and then very quickly turns into what these characters are doing, rather than the pub crawl is incidental.
Yes. No,
Which,
it's a tough call for me to... you know what? I'm probably going to buy the Blu-ray right when it comes out, because I'm sure they'll release that first, and then I'll have to buy the 3-pack when that comes out. I'm sure they'll delay that like a couple months, so that I have to buy it again, because I can't wait.
Yeah.
People like me, they're like, I can't be smart and wait for them all to come out on Blu-ray at once, because I don't have any of them on Blu-ray right now.
Right.
But, yes, I'm slowly transferring everything. Do you have a Netflix recommendation before we let the good folks go?
Well, I was just going to quickly double check what I've been watching, because I've not had that much time recently. I can't even remember if I mentioned last time. Did I talk about Done the Impossible on the last one?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And it's in my queue, and I have not seen it yet, but it's in there.
Yeah, in that case, I don't have anything new that I would strictly recommend.
Then with me, I just want to toss both of these out there just because whatever. I've been watching a show called Continuum. Not bad. Oddly enough, about time travel, and I'm enjoying it.
That's what I was wondering, because I knew it had time travel in it.
It's not the greatest writing, but Rachel Nichols is absolutely gorgeous, and that's keeping me watching. Being honest, folks. But it is. There are some really cool moments and really interesting aspects to it. They really deal with losing your family, kind of, and trying to get back. Kind of a Quantum Leap type feel, like trying to get back home. But, you know, it's kind of like the crime, what am I looking for? That CSI, Bones, whatever, kind of, procedural was the word I was looking for.
Right.
But with a bigger story at stake.
Yeah.
But, I've been watching that, and it's not bad. And there's this little show, Arrested Development, who, I don't know, I guess that I just started watching the first season of that, because everyone said, you'll love it. So I didn't watch it out of spite.
Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome. I like it. So I'm like 4 episodes in. But what I really want to recommend, and I've recommended his first film, which was Sleepwalk With Me by Mike Birbiglia.
Right.
Which started off as a one-man show, which he workshopped around the country, and did like an hour of stand-up or hour and a half, telling the story of meeting his college sweetheart and them almost getting married, but not really fully being in love. Have you ever seen the film?
I did. Yes, I watched it after you mentioned.
But this one is just it's not a fictionalized film version of that. This is just the stand-up. It's Mike Birbiglia, My Girlfriend's Boyfriend, and it's kind of the sequel, if you will, of what happens after that. And it's heartbreaking, it's romantic, it's hilarious. He goes back and forth in the past, and you just see him as a great storyteller.
Right.
With the jokes, with the heartache, with his failed attempts at love, his failed attempts at, making connections with people, and these absurd circumstances that take place in his life, and hopefully finding some happiness in there. And it's a great, great special. It's only an hour and 15 minutes. It's on Netflix now. I strongly recommend it, and I've already seen it twice.
Right.
So, you really see what a great storyteller he is. He weaves it so well. He will be telling the main story, go back and tie it all together.
Yeah.
Keep the main story going forward, and then back up. And it's great special. So, Mike Birbiglia, My Girlfriend's Boyfriend. Watch it.
Alright, I'll have to look out for that.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, because I have not, and I know that you have watched it, Iron Sky. I want to get your feelings on this film.
You know what? I have not finished it. I have about 20 minutes left.
That's fine. You don't need to.
Well, I will share with the folks what I sent to you in a text message. Roughly, I don't remember it verbatim, but I said I can't decide whether this is the worst piece of shit I've ever seen or the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And I think the answer is a little of both.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me was like, are they in on the joke? Are they not in on the joke? Do they think they're making a great film? Do they know this is shit?
I think they definitely went into it going like, okay, this is about Nazis on the moon.
How can we make this real?
We're just going to run with this.
No, but I thought it would be straight up all subtitles, but I was happy to know there's a good amount of English in there.
Oh, no, yeah. And, only the German spoken by a German to another German there. So,
but it is so inappropriate.
Oh, yeah.
You have whiteface in this movie. A guy goes whiteface.
I have to say, the one thing about that I didn't fully understand up until...
And it looked horrible. He just looked pasty.
That was the thing. And
everyone's seeing him as a white man.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they were supposed to be, this guy is white now. Yeah. Because you only see him on the moon in dim lighting and then in a car with no lighting. And then he steps out.
He just looks like a 70-year-old black man, not a 35-year-old black man. It's like, apparently my skin has faded slightly. Yes.
But so you've got whiteface by a guy who's turned Aryan by the Nazi. You've got a woman president who is just, war, I need to be re-elected.
She's like Sarah Palin on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And,
that's...
I'm not going to go any further than that.
If you need something that's just camp to the max and you just want to eat some popcorn or drink a couple beers, I'd strongly recommend watching that.
I mean, I will say I think you haven't got to the best point in the film.
All right, I will finish it off here. Yeah.
I expect a text from you once you finish it just going, what the hell was that?
All right, well, that's enough said. I think it's time for us to let the good people go.
Oh, I think we're going to have
suppose,
to.
if they haven't gone already.
Right.
One or two of you out there remaining for any nuggets.
Yeah,
but alas, they are not coming. So,
all right. Well, I hope you listened out for the password.
Yes, yep.
And just because I said password doesn't mean it's one word there.
No,
you really
yes,
do
yes,
have
yes.
to have listened out there.
word and or phrase. Yes.
Password and or phrase. Yeah.
Or phrase. Password or phrase, I guess.
Yes.
It, not both.
Yeah,
All right. Enough of us. I've been Brian.
and I've been Paul.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.